Shalom. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us its truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. This is the brother Yahshua back with the WW3 Daily update. All right, going to keep it quick. This is Zechariah 12:3. All right, and in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. All right, so let's look at that in a couple of different versions. This is NIV. All right, on that day when all the nations of the earth are gathered against her. Who is her? All right, Israel. All right, Jerusalem. Talk about the Israelites. All right, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, right, who are scattered into all the nations of the earth, but the powers that be that run this kingdom, right, and this is Satan's kingdom right now, right, about to be destroyed in World War III, okay? The armies of the world, right, are going to be destroyed in World War III to make way for the kingdom of heaven. After the armies of the world are destroyed in World War III, it'll be that much easier to subdue these nations, okay, and make them underlings to the nation of Israel, and the one that you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, whose name is Yahushua, is going to rule on the throne, and then under that throne will be King David's throne, then the 144,000, right, and under them the nation of Israel. All right, and that's the kingdom of heaven. Plain and simple. All right, so here's what I'm looking for. All who try to move it will injure themselves. All the nations will gather against it to try to move it, but they will only hurt themselves. Okay? All who heave it away will be severely injured. Let's go down here. Let's get Good News Translation. All the nations of the world will join forces. What is this word forces? That means armies to attack her. All right. Why do all the nations of the world hate the nation of Israel? Because they know that God, who is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whose name is Yahweh, only loves his people, Israel. And he's about to set them up in the next kingdom to come, the kingdom of heaven. Heaven for who? Heaven for the Israelites. So they're going to try to do away with the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because if they can do away with them, they can hold on to the kingdom that is now while they turn it into their new world order. It's not going to work. They're going to be trampled underfoot. All right, so let's go to the new. Okay, here's another one. On that day, I will make Jerusalem a stone too heavy for all the nations to lift. All who try to lift it will be severely injured. All the nations of the world will gather to fight. Who does the fighting for your nation? Your army, your military. Okay? So when it says all the nations of the world will gather, see that gather to fight? Well, who's going to do the gathering? All right? Well, the Most High is gathering them. All right? Right here, Zechariah 14, 2 and 3. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. The city shall be taken and the houses rifled, women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity. That happened before, but it's about to happen again. All nations against Jerusalem, right? Now also many nations are gathered against thee that say, let her be defiled and let our eye look upon Zion, right? So let's dig a little deeper into this. Let's go to, I want to go here, okay? But when the time comes, I will make Jerusalem like a heavy stone. Any nation that tries to lift it will be hurt. All the nations of the world will join forces to attack her. At that time, will I terrify all their horses. What are their horses? Their horsepower, their chariots, okay? And make all their riders go crazy. Those are the pilots of those jets, of the tanks. I will watch over the people of Judah. I will make the horses of their enemies blind. Okay? This is speaking of World War III. Now let's go to Joel to prove that. Okay? All right, let's go to Joel, Salakia. And who's Salakia? Let's see, Joel 3. All right, and this is saying the same thing. Joel 3 and 1. For behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, the Israelites, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. This is World War III. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Where's the valley of Jehoshaphat? The valley of Jehoshaphat is talking about the Middle East. All right. So let's look at some news. All right. Let's go to Deep Journal and come up on the news. This is 6 hours ago. Breaking: Iranian army shoots itself. What? Nuclear danger in Iran. Israel strikes with its own method. All right. This is 6 hours ago. What's going on in the Middle East? This. Okay. War. World War III in the Middle East. 19 hours ago. Breaking: Russian military base hit by U.S. airstrike. What? That must be in Syria. It's got to be in Syria. See it where it says in Syria? It says Putin shocked in Syria. Russian base hit. See? You understand? You got to know how to read these headlines to know what's actually going on. Okay? Because if the U.S. struck Russia in Russia, it would be on and popping. So when they say this, Russian military base, it's got to be in Syria. That's where they're fighting each other with proxy. All right? So this is what's going on in the Middle East right now. All right? So when you go back to Joel and you read that I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat, that's going on right now. Okay? All right, so let's go to, let's look at Secret Report. That's 1 day ago, so that's not current. Let's look at Carrier Pigeon, 17 hours. That's talking about what's going on in Afghanistan, where that's in the Middle East. All right? China has seized half the world. USA is on the way with all its might. All right, this is World War III, clearly. Let's go to Secret Files 333. Get the current ones. Guerrilla war, breaking guerrilla war against Taliban. That's in Afghanistan. Here's Afghanistan. Breaking Tajikistan helps Panjshir. This is all in the Middle East. Okay. What is going on? All right. And there's one more. What is it called? Secret reports. Did I look at that? Yeah. Nothing there. Okay, so I mean, we could look at some of this. All right. Let's look at this. Of course, there's a
every day. You should get the.
Of course, there's a commercial. All right, let's look at that.
Dear listeners, welcome to the Deep Journal channel. By subscribing to our channel, you can be informed about detailed reports every time. One of the new crisis points between Iran and Israel was the borderline of Azerbaijan. Iran made statements of support to Armenia on the Azerbaijani borderline and then began to hold exercises. It is understood that the reason for this is the close relations between Azerbaijan and Israel at the level of strategic regional alliances. Azerbaijan is one of Israel's few allies in the Middle East and its only ally in the Caucasus. The developing relations between Israel and Azerbaijan enabled Azerbaijan to heavily defeat Armenia in the Nagorno-Karabakh War with the support of Turkey. In the Armenian-Azerbaijani tension, Israel announced that it supports Azerbaijan. Now Iran has made it clear that it wants to break this alliance.
Do you see what's going on here? World War III is not only in effect right now, it's growing, all right, to the point where they will have to declare. Remember when you used to play cards and you put those 3 cards down, you say, I declare war? That's 4. 4 cards, right? There's a card game called War. When you declare war, the rules, all right, for your country. Say, for example, oh, well, we're under the Constitution. We haven't been under the Constitution for years. We're under the Patriot Act too, if we're even under that. When they call a state of emergency over the country, the rules change. Okay? So when we're on a wartime footing, they can do anything. They can start locking you up like they did the Japanese in World War II. What do you think is going to go on when they declare war? All right? First of all, they're already at war. So you think you have rights or your rights are being taken away? You say, well, what about my rights? What about my... Are we not under war right now? They haven't declared it yet. They're taking everything from me right now. All right? What happens when they declare war? Then all hell breaks loose. And you Egyptians, you Babylonians, I'm talking about right here in America, you are not going to have it. You're going to rise up. All right? And they're ready for that. They got drones. They got robot dogs. They got robots. Right? Things that you haven't seen yet. Right? So it should be very interesting to see. All right, let's watch a little more of it.
Noting that it did not want Israel to approach its borders in the first days, Iran also stated that it could resort to different ways if necessary. Especially in the corridor that will connect Azerbaijan and Turkey via Nakhchivan, Russian forces are currently dominant.
You hear all of these different countries? When they say world war, it's all the countries, all the nations are bringing their forces together. All right? Oh, well, where do we see that? We see it right here in the pages of the Bible. The Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, said, I will gather the armies of the world into the Middle East. Okay? All right? Thousands and thousands in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Let's get that. All right. Start at 11. Joel 3 and 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, all you other nations, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down. That's talking about the angels are going to get in the fight, right? Including the one you call Jesus, whose name is Yahushua. All right? Let all the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I judge all the heathen round about. God has a plan. He can gather you all, bring you into an ambush, and do away with all the armies of the world. That's what World War III is about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is fat. God is going to destroy the armies for what they did to his people. Then move forward to subdue all the nations of the earth. First, you got to take their militaries down. Multitudes in the valley of decision. Multitudes of what? The armies of all the nations of the earth. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Okay? All right? This is what's going on. I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Right? They think that they're responsible for what they're doing. God been working on their minds to bring them all together in one space to launch an ambush. This is the ambush that God led Pharaoh and his army into. Okay? This thing right here, this is an ambush. All right? Back during the Egyptian kingdom, before God took it down, using Moses, he set a trap for him. Okay? He led his people through the Red Sea, and he held them off with these things. Okay? And once the people got to the other side, then he removed the chariot and let Pharaoh and his army go into the zone, right? The attack zone. And what did he do? He let the waters go and he destroyed Pharaoh's army. He's about to do the same thing. This is called an ambush. Okay? This is the strike zone. He led Pharaoh into the strike zone. Okay? And then he destroyed it. He's doing the same thing in the valley of Jehoshaphat with all the armies of the world. He's leading them into the Middle East. And then what is he going to do? He's going to command his, it says, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Right here. It says, assemble yourselves, come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Then you can call out those UFOs. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down. And he's going to attack them. He's going to turn them into powder, into dust. Okay, that's what World War III is about. All right. So with that, we're just going to keep it right there. We got one more tomorrow. Might make it a long one and explain everything. Okay. All right. This is what's coming. All right. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down and destroy all of this. All right. All of Satan's blue angels. All right. So with that, we hope that the elect were edified. And until tomorrow, we can say shalom.